Welcome to episode 1 of Stuff Dad Makes. Tonight we'll be making tuna casserole because it's one of my kids' favorites, and it's also inspired by The Woman in the Window Looking at the Girl Across the Street, something like that, with Kristen Bell. The craziest part about that, of course, is that things you'll need in order to make tuna casserole are 3 tablespoons of butter, a pound of large elbow macaroni. You can also use shells if you so choose. And then, according to the package, frozen peas, cheese. I like to use the family size, great for cooking version of Campbell's cream of mushroom soup, but didn't have that, so here it is. 2 cans of tuna in water, not in oil, unless you want to be disgusting. A bit of milk, and you need a casserole dish. You need a big pot with salt water. Turn that on high to start to boil my water. I'm also going to use garlic and onion and salt and pepper. If you want like the fancy version, you can saute some onions, some fresh garlic, and some fresh tomatoes, mushrooms, and then put those in later. I am not doing that because my daughter's not a huge fan of mushrooms. So also I am lazy. This is the lazy version of this. Granules from Sprouts. Okay, while your water's starting to boil, grab one of these, Colander. Get some of them there frozen peas. Now, how much peas? How much do you like peas? I like peas as much as is left in the bag. So that's how many peas we'll be using tonight for our recipe. Turn on warm water. And wait till the water gets warm. Oh, it's warm. Now, you'll notice when your peas start to look like the color of peas. So right now, as you can see, there's like white and a light green. Those are both. You're not going to want to eat those. They'll be crunchy in the middle, or they'll taste gross, raw, whatever. So turn them into the hot water so they start to look like this, like peas. You don't want them to be peas, you want them to taste like peas. All right.
Say peas one more time.
Then go ahead and set them aside, and they will drain by the time you need to use them. All right. Now it's time to wait for your water to boil. Make that pasta. All right. Our water has come to a boil. You can see here, boiling. Doesn't have to be like frothing or rapidly or whatever. As I said before, about a pound of pasta. This one had a little more than that left in the bag, so I'm going to leave a little bit. Now this says 8 to 10 minutes, so I'm going to set a timer for 8 minutes 30 seconds. It's going to cook a little bit later in the pot, so I just use a little bit longer than the lowest number on any given pasta, because we're going to cook it a little bit. So pour it in, stir it up a little bit. Make sure it's not stuck to the bottom. And let her go. Shouldn't have to revisit again until this timer goes beep, beep, beep. I did stir it halfway through, just to make sure it's not sticking to the bottom. 10 seconds left on the timer. You can count it down like the new year if you want to. 7, 6. I don't do that. In fact, I actually turned it off because the beep on our microwave is annoying. All right. It's been rapid boiling, and this is now ready to be drained. This is also the time I like to preheat my oven, 425. And then turn this down to a medium heat, which, I mean, it's fire, so fire's fire, right? But medium fire. If you don't have a fancy pan like this, kids, because I know you don't, you can use a colander, obviously, to strain your macaroni. You're going to want to do it slowly so that you don't get water coming up from your garbage disposal into the bottom of your macaroni, because that's disgusting. So, you know, don't do that. All right. Good and strained. Back on the fire. Remember that 1/3 cup of butter from earlier? I do. Now as you hear, this is a great time for my microwave to stick to the bottom, so just a little bit of milk at this point. And by a little bit, I mean that much. How much was that? A little bit, like I said. All right. Chase that butter around a little bit while the macaroni's still hot. Get it all buttered up. Now, if you want, you can just eat this, because that's yummy. But also, if you're going to use elbows, use large elbows. They're way better than these small elbows. All right. Next, your cream mushroom soup. If you're clever and have 3 cans of it like me, it takes a bit longer to get it all in the pot. Stir in the cream of mushroom soup. Now, cream of mushroom soup and milk is your sauce. So this is not sauce yet. This is still mostly soup, because as you recall from earlier, I put in some milk. Now it's the time to make your consistency right. So you put in some more milk. As you stir, you can see your cream of mushroom soup start to become a sauce rather than a gelatinous mass. I'm still not quite sauce. It's still a bit thick, so a bit more milk. Now this, if you put in too much milk, you can cook it a little bit longer, burn it off to get the right consistency. If you don't put in enough milk, well, you can put in more milk. All right. There we go. As you can see here, it is now a sauce. So, time for the remainder of our ingredients. I generally start with the tuna. Get it nice and mixed in. Normally more peas than that, but those were all the peas. Now, time for our seasonings. I'm a bit sparing with both the onion and the garlic because they can both overwhelm the dish. So, a bit of onion powder, a bit of garlic, salt, pepper. People are going to salt and pepper to taste after they get it out anyway, so, you know, just some baked in. Turn off your fire at this point and move on over to the casserole dish. You say, but Dad, I'm not strong enough to one-hand all of the casserole. I know. You could have set down a hot pad, brought it over here, spooned some of it out until you could lift it. Or have a friend help you. One of your many friends. All right, flatten it out in the casserole dish. Now, some people use breadcrumbs on top of the casseroles. That's disgusting. Don't do that. We have something perfectly good for this kind of thing. Cheese! I'm using a 4-cheese blend, Mexican cheese. If you're offended by Mexican cheese, you shouldn't be watching this. How much cheese? Hey, again, it's going to be some, probably enough to get a decent layer on the top here. Sometimes it's the rest of the cheese, because that's how much cheese you have.
You have another bag of cheese.
You're a bag of cheese. Stay fresh, cheese bags. All right, once you have covered your casserole with cheese, oven is at 425. It has preheated. Or in the oven for 7 minutes. And we will return when that goes beep, beep, beep. And there we are. That's tuna casserole. It's really just about melting the cheese for that 7 minutes. Ooh, yummy. That's it. Have some.